What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, tender, juicy, flavorful, amazing Mississippi pulled pork with some lovely homemade buns and, of course, the pepperoncinis. Coming up. This is some pork. Pat them dry. And what I got here is some pork butt, or 2 chunks of some boneless pork shoulder. But I suppose you could use a whole Boston butt if you wanted to. And that's because today we're taking another look at the Mississippi pot roast. And I did a whole video about this a while back, where essentially I took a beef chuck roast, threw some seasoning on it, tossed it on the old barbecue pit to get some color and flavor, and then finished it off in a really flavorful, pretty unique braise until it was nice and tender and made some lovely sandwiches out of it. And it was honestly surprisingly good, a lot better than I was expecting. And I've been thinking about it ever since. So today we're going to do another version of that, but instead of using a beef chuck roast, we're going to be using some pork butt to make a pork version of the Mississippi pot roast. And like I said, you could do a whole butt, but that would take a lot longer. It might be a little more difficult to fit into a braising pan, which is why I picked up these chunks, and we're going to turn these into pork steaks, which should speed up the process a little bit, give us some more surface area for seasoning and smoke, and just be a slightly easier form factor to work with. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and cut these down just a little bit. Honestly, probably just cut this one in half for a lovely looking pork steak. Thick boy. Maybe go a little bit thinner on this one. That is a good looking pork steak. That's what they're supposed to look like. Nice and fatty, well marbled. And truth be told, I did buy a lot more pork than I need because this would make a lot of pulled pork. So I'm going to take a few of these, probably these really nice looking ones, and save those for another time because I like having pork steaks on hand. But as for the rest of these, we're going to go ahead and get them seasoned up. So I'm going to bust out some good old fashioned Chuds BBQ SPG. Just get some black pepper and some salt on these. But again, a lot of the flavoring is going to be coming from the braise later, so it's not all that important to get perfect seasoning on these now. But might as well start building those layers of flavor. Flip them over and get the bottoms, and of course we're not going to forget the sides. And those are looking pretty much perfect to me. Let's go ahead and fire up the pit. And on the pit we go. Got the old Chud box here fired up. Just some big lump charcoal down below. Cooking right around 275, 300 degrees. Hopefully get some good direct heat smoke flavor on this pork. Build up a crust and just start developing some flavor. And how long you keep these on is really up to you because we are going to be braising this down to make pulled pork at the end of the day anyway. So really it's just about adding some flavor and getting the cook started. So we'll check back in on this in a couple hours. This video is brought to you by ZBiotics. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to help tackle that rough morning after a night of drinking. And here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, it gets converted in your gut to a toxic byproduct, and it's that byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. But pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break down that byproduct in your gut where it's needed most. And to use it could not be much more simple. Just give it a shake, twist off the top, make sure this is your first drink of the night. Then proceed with your plans, drink responsibly, get a good night's sleep, drink plenty of water, and you'll wake up feeling your best tomorrow. And with fall in full swing, Halloween is right around the corner, and it falls on a Friday this year, so let's just say I'm probably going to be having a little bit more than just candy on All Hallows Eve. But with ZBiotics on hand, I know I'll be able to wake up the next day productive and ready to face whatever the world throws at me. So if you want to give pre-alcohol a try for yourself, click my link in the description box down below or scan the QR code on screen now to save 15% off your first order. Again, click my link down below or scan the QR code on screen now to check out ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol, and using my code you can get 15% off your first order. Thank you, ZBiotics. Next up, let's knock out some buns. Start them going into our mixer with some eggs, some water, sugar, and our yeast. And get that all mixed up. And then in with our bread flour, our dough conditioner to make these nice and fluffy, and some salt. And mix this for about 6 minutes. It's been like 2 minutes. Forgot to add the butter. Softened butter, that is. And now we're going to mix it for like 5-6 minutes. Beautiful dough ball. And now into a grease bowl we go to double in size for the next hour to hour and 1/2. And now that our dough has doubled in size, out it comes. Boop. And now we're going to portion it out into some 90-gram dough balls. And once all portioned out, we'll grab ourselves a dough ball and tuck all the seams to the underside, pinching everything shut. Sticky. And onto a Silpat lined baking sheet we go. Beautiful. And once all balled up, we're going to cover these in plastic and let them rise for another 30 to 45 minutes. And once fully risen for a second time and looking nice and poofy, we're gonna go ahead and hit these with an egg wash to get some lovely color. Just a beaten egg with a splash of water and paint that on all over. Beautiful full coverage on that. It's also at this stage you could add some garnish like some sesame seeds or whatever, but I'm feeling nude buns today. So now into a 375-degree oven these go for probably about 30 minutes until they're looking absolutely beautiful. And I gotta say, these are some nice looking buns every time. Gotta love it. But fresh out of the oven, I brushed these down with some melted butter to give some added sheen and also kind of soften the exterior a little bit. But I'm gonna let these cool down on a wire rack so we don't sog out the bottom and try not to eat all of them. We're about 2 hours in on this cook. I've done literally nothing. This charcoal is holding out very nicely. Gotta love that. But I'm gonna go ahead and flip these over. That is looking really good to me. Some nice crusting, a lot of fat smoke coming up from down below, getting that wonderful direct heat flavor. These are just some good looking pork steaks. But we're probably gonna go another hour or so on the underside here, get some more color, keep cooking these through, and then we'll check back in. And while we wait for that pork to keep on cooking, let's go ahead and get our braise made up. Started by going into this pan here with 2 sticks of butter and get that melting down. And yes, that is an aggressive amount of butter, but I didn't make the rules. Just trying to be authentic here. But now in with our onion. This is 1 small sliced up yellow onion, and get that cooking down. And traditionally, if you wanted to do this the super easy way, you would take your beef or your pork steak and just brown it off and then throw it into a crock pot with a stick of butter and all the other ingredients that we're about to throw in here. But you don't get any barbecue flavor that way, which is why I've got my meat smoking away over there. But you can really make this dish as easy or as difficult as you want. And it is called Mississippi pot roast after all. So if you wanted to throw in some potatoes or some carrots or other veg like that, you could certainly do that, because anything that's being cooked in a bunch of butter and some lovely stock and other ingredients is gonna be tasty. But we're gonna keep it pretty simple today with some onions, and I'll throw some garlic in here in a minute too. But I'm gonna go ahead and cook these down until they're translucent. That way they kind of dissolve into the braise and our eventual pulled pork. And once those onions have cooked down a little bit, starting to take on a little bit of color, we'll go in with our garlic. I'm going in with whole garlic because it's basically like a confit garlic, and at the end it's going to be super tasty, and if it survives we can put it on the sandwich itself. So let those start cooking down for a little bit. And now it's time for the 2 very unique ingredients that go into this recipe, one of which is a ranch dressing packet and the other is some sort of a gravy packet. If I was doing a regular beef version of this, I'd probably use an au jus packet or a beef gravy, but because we're doing pork version today, I figured this one makes the most sense. So in we go with 1 packet of each of those. Seems weird, I know. Tastes really good though. And get that all mixed in. Next up, we'll go in with a couple shots of some Worcestershire sauce, followed by some pepperoncinis, as many or as few as you see fit. But these are really good, especially after being braised down, so I'm gonna go pretty heavy with them. I've seen some people dump the whole jar, some people say half a jar, but I leave that up to you. Also going with some of the juice as well. Bring some much needed acidity to the party. You know what, I'm gonna do the whole jar, I don't care. I think the extra acid will really play nicely with the direct heat pork. That is smelling really good. And now to add some more liquid, I'm going in with some homemade smoked pork stock. I made this last night. Simply fired up the chud box, threw on some pork neck bones, also threw a couple of wing tips in there because I had them on hand. And once those were browned up, put them in a pot with some water, and then I checked the fridge and I conveniently had half an onion, a couple stalks of celery, and a couple carrots, which is very strange that I had all of those on hand at the same time, but worked out really well for this stock. Let it simmer overnight and then I strained it all out this morning. But of course, if you don't want to make your own pork stock, you could use chicken or beef, but I think this smoky gelatinous pork stock is going to work out perfectly. And once this has come up to a boil, into this half pan we go. Smelling really good already. And coming back over here to the chud box. Oh yeah, that looks incredible. Lovely color on that all over. Definitely getting a lot of that smoky flavor on there. And honestly, it looks good enough to slice into already, but still pretty tough. This has been on for about 3, maybe 3.5 hours. So now we're gonna pop this into the braise. Beautiful. Probably gonna top that off with just a little more stock to make sure everything is submerged. And then we'll wrap it up. And by wrap it up, I mean pop a lid on there. And again, there's a million ways to go about doing this. You could pop it in the crock pot, but for me, I'm just gonna put this in my toaster oven for the next few hours. That way I can kind of come in and keep an eye on it. But you could throw it back on the pit, throw it on the pellet grill, whatever you wanna do. So I think I'm gonna set my oven to around 300 degrees Fahrenheit, park this in there and let it cook until everything is shreddy and nice and tender. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. I'm guessing another 2 hours, but I'll let you know. And after 2 hours in the oven, I actually bumped the temps up to 350, but after 2 hours, everything is looking nice and tender. And I pulled this out probably 45 minutes ago. It took a really long time for this stuff to come down in temp. And I'm surprised it's still in steak form, but I don't think I could get these out without them shredding apart because they are indeed so tender. And the smell is absolutely incredible. That direct heat smoke is really coming through. The acidity, a little bit of spice, but I'm ready to see how this stuff came out. While it was cooling down, I did go ahead and fish out all the pepperoncinis and our garlic cloves. And the reason I put so many garlic cloves in there is because I've been snacking on these because they're absolutely fantastic. I need to just start making this, you know, porky, smoky infused, super tender garlic cloves. I mean, just like boop. Oh, love it. Save those for our sandwich here in a little bit, because now we got to get this stuff pulled apart. And I think I'm just going to do it right here in the liquid. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so tender. Gotta love that. Definitely juicy because it's submerged in juice. It's a cool way to make pulled pork right here. Next time I do this, I should definitely just put a perforated pan in here so I can just lift it up to separate all this meat from all the liquid. But getting this all pulled out now, and you can kind of dial in how juicy you want it to be, you know what I mean? If you want a real sloppy sandwich, just throw that on there. Like a French dip or something. But that's looking pretty good to me. And another side note is I probably should have taken all the stems off those pepperoncinis before going into the braise, but just got to keep an eye out for them at this point. Most of them stayed on the peppers, so when I pulled these out, popped them off, but we don't want that in our sandwich. And just like that, got this all separated, and I did go ahead and strain the rest of the braising liquid, and there was a lot of good little bits left in there, which I threw back into this mix. And I'm definitely going to save this because tomorrow if I pull this out of the fridge, we can separate the fat because it's already floating to the top, and we'll have some ridiculously flavorful pork stock. But really happy with how that's looking. Looks like just some really good pulled pork, honestly. And of course, this is where you can dial it in for seasoning or add some more moisture if you think it needs it. But this is looking really good to me. Maybe a little more dressing. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and build a sandwich. Starting with one of our absolutely beautiful buns. I mean, just look at the color on that. Look at the squishy factor. Freshly baked bread never gets old, folks. Oh, picture perfect. But let's get this sliced right down the middle to reveal yet another perfect looking bun. And now I'm gonna butter toast this on the old Chud press real quick until golden brown and delicious. And now we build, starting on the bottom bun with some of our little braised down confit garlic situation here, which should just spread out like peanut butter. Oh, that's gonna be a good base for a sandwich right there. Love it. And top that with a big juicy mound of our lovely braisey pulled pork. Oh, goodness gracious, this is gonna be a good one, folks. And to top it off, we got our lovely pepperoncinis. Great little pickle for the top of a smoky sandwich. And that is it, folks. We're keeping it real simple today. We top it all off, and there we have it. It's magnificent. You know, it's no secret that I love a good freshly baked bun barbecue sandwich on this channel, but this one's just looking absolutely gorgeous. But now we need to find out how it came out. Got a lot of weight to it, a bit of a heft, but feeling nice and soft, nice and squishy. Good God. That is so incredibly flavorful. That is a fantastic bite of food right there. And it's just so much different than a pork butt that I would pull off of one of these and make a normal like Texas style pulled pork sandwich with, because right off the bat I'm hit with just a ton of direct heat flavor, which is absolutely incredible. The difference in flavor between fat and juices dripping onto the coals creating steam and smoke is so much different than wood smoke off of an offset. Whenever we do a class or something like that, I usually cook some food on the offset and some food on the Chud box, just because people don't really understand how different it truly is. But that is fantastic. It is an absolute flavor bomb too. And I might be wrong, but I think the reason a lot of people love this Mississippi pot roast style of cooking is because they don't put MSG in their food very often, but that ranch packet is just chock full of MSG, and it makes it so flavorful. And you got a little bit of kick from the pepperoncinis in there, that garlic spread on the bottom, on a homemade fluffy bun. Yes, please. It's so juicy. That is ridiculous. I really need to start doing this kind of stuff more often. You know, the old smoke it and then braise technique, because I only had to watch that pit for like 3 hours today. And it's pretty hard to overcook it when it's in a braise, you know, because liquid can only get so hot. The results are just some juicy, tender, delicious barbecue. It was incredible. Very good. I like the flavor of it. Also, every time I eat a sandwich like this, I'm reminded how much I love pepperoncinis. So good. This really is right up my alley for things I do on this channel. We got some freshly baked bread. We got some direct heat pork steaks. I made a smoky gelatinous pork stock. And then at the end, it's salty, it's fatty, it's acidic, and it's got some heat to it. What more do you need? But before I go ahead and devour this entire sandwich, I think it's time for the official taste test. Ooh. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make an absolutely fantastic, smoky Mississippi pot roast pulled pork sandwich. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, it's pretty straightforward, really easy recipe, readily available ingredients. And I know it sounds weird dumping ranch packets and gravy packets in with your meat, but it really does make for a unique bite of food. It's incredibly flavorful and very different than every other pulled pork sandwich I've made on this channel thus far. And definitely something I'll be doing again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like. on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Team Chud members. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!